The Shep Notes. The subject today is the Book of the Dead. It's a small book, probably less than 100 pages in it. Back in the 80s, when I was governing my library, I obtained the book. And it's really called The Book of the Dead, The Magical Ox of Moses. That's what it was called. I'm here basically to explain that title and actually the book and how it came about to be in the possessions of Moses. Moses was born in Egypt. He was born in Egypt. Now, 11 of the male of the children of Israel were born in Syria. And Benjamin, the youngest of the group, and Rachel was his mother, he was born in Bethlehem. And Isaac was born in Canaan. And Esau and Jacob was born in Canaan. Abraham was born in Hebron. So you got to go back to these birth places and what they represent. Now, Moses wasn't introduced to God until he was 80 years old. He didn't know anything about God. As you can read, when he went to the burning bush, he didn't know who God was. He was asking who he was and what was his name. He heard about him, but that's about it. So we got to go back to his birth to find out how this book has a relationship to him. Now, Moses was part of the group that the pharaohs told the midwives when they delivered the children of Israel to put them on the waters. And one of the midwives saw Moses, but she didn't do that. So what she did, she left him with his mother until he was a certain baby age. It wasn't that much, maybe a year or close to it. And then she was forced to put him on the waters herself. But Miriam, the sister, was older than Moses. And she followed the basket that was put on the water, and it wound up over there by the Pharaoh's residence. The daughter of Pharaoh was out there by the waters, and she saw the basket, and she went on and got it. And she adopted Moses. Now, for the first 40 years, Moses' education was basically that of Egyptian, and his studies and his understanding of arts and everything. So Moses would have received that book within that 40-year period. And it was contributed to Moses being the fact that he was the son or adopted son of Pharaoh's daughter, and he was accepted. So he received more than that. He understood everything the Egyptians stood for and what they done. Now, if we jump real fast to when Moses returned to Egypt with Aaron, his brother, remember he put the rod down, and so did the Egyptians. Their rod turned into a snake, and so did Moses' rod. But Moses' rod ate their rod, the snake did. It was like a python eating a regular snake. So the book itself was the Book of the Dead, the Magical Ox, and then the book belonged to Moses, like that. So, yes, in those days, the Egyptians could do these acts with their magical ox and their saint. It wasn't a hidden thing for all nations to have a god that would do some things to impress other nations. Egypt was the main one. That's why God chose them to bring down. When he went over there, he tore up Egypt. When he left, they never retained that status again. which is to throw the serpent, throw a rod down, do magic art. That was taken away. But before Moses got there, before he came there when he was 80 years old, Israel was revered and feared. And Moses had no idea about God at all. Now, when Moses got a certain age, he began to look at the people, the Hebrews. He was curious about them. And so he went out to the land to kind of like visit them and find out their ways and how they live. Now, there's a lack of unknowns about this. Obviously, his sister knew who he was because she followed the basket and saw Pharaoh's daughter pick up the basket. So that means the sister told the brother, who was Aaron, and the mother. So it's possible when Moses went out there, he found out who he was. He found it out. And there was a particular security guard, an Egyptian, who was taking advantage of one of the Hebrews. And Moses now, knowing that those were his people, he killed the guy. But the people who told him was his own people. They said, who made him a ruler over them? They were jealous of Moses. So Moses had a relationship within their clan, and yet he had a relationship within the Egyptian clan. This is another story that I was going to tell way in the future, but I put a little bit out now. Give you another little part of that kind of prejudiceness. Also, when Moses became great in Israel, and that was after 80 years, Aaron and Miriam, his brother and sister, was jealous of his wife. Because his wife come from the African, area. And she was beautiful, very beautiful. The children of God seem to go for all the beautiful women, at least in their view, in my opinion, from reading the Bible. And what happened is the Lord punished Aaron, not right away, but he did get him, because Aaron was the high priest, wearing the high priest garments and having the breastplates and things like that on him. He was protected for a while. However, Miriam was actually departed from the camp, because they was talking about his wife, and they took it as though maybe he should leave her and get one of the Hebrew wives. But no, he had children. He had a little boy, and he loved his wife. And his father was Jethro. So the relationship between Jethro, his wife, and his children was binded also Israel with them. And as time went on, Jethro also gave advice to Moses in reference to how to rule. And God did not interfere with this advice because Moses would rule every day himself. Didn't have no help on anything. He'd get up there and make all the rule all day, all night. And Jethro said, you're going to wear yourself out. Now, don't forget, back in those days, Jethro and Moses was businessmen. That's right. They handled cattle, sheep, and things of that nature. They was very good at what they did. They was that discussion was business related. So Jethro said, you're going to wear yourself out every day doing it. You got to get some help. You're going to have to get some of the people to help judge the people. And this is how the judges came about. Moses divided the people up according to their tribes and everything, and put judges over a certain amount of people, 50s and 100s and stuff like that. And they would come to the judges. But any big matter that could not have been resolved would go to Moses. Jethro suggested that, and then the Lord, the Father, enforced it. So this goes to say, this prejudiceness that goes in with just about everything don't have the support of God in all relationships. I think he only has support. He's only going to be support when it comes down to good and evil. That's it. All people, all souls are his. He has said it. All souls are mine. He don't hate anybody at the beginning. It's only after they show this life for righteousness. Then he work with them, try to bring them over, and then they don't come over, then they retain judgment. They get judgment. But back to Moses. This book was part of his possession, but it became effect later on when he saw the real God, went up into the mountain. That God, this book was never used in all four, and probably was discarded after a while. Moses died at the age of 120. He was totally convinced of God. But there'd be no reason not to think that Moses was brought up with the Egyptians, that he would have saw this as some kind of education that he needed and some kind of understanding that he sought to have. However, in the whole entire 4 books, and through Moses' life, that book was never mentioned ever. Now the book is implied only in the book of Genesis, when Moses was with Pharaoh and them. When Moses killed for his people, he became a fugitive. He ran, and they was after him from murdering one of the Egyptians. And then when Moses came back, it was a different Pharaoh, and more could be said about that. But I only wanted to address the insignificance of the book, which is the Book of the Dead. It didn't have really any significance to Moses' real mission as the lawgiver.